Hi guys, welcome to Lori's Crochet Corner. I am here to do a tutorial for you today, but I do have a special request from a friend, and she needs some help doing a single crochet. So I did tell her I would show her. I'm sure she's got down pat how to wrap the yarn around her hand and make her slip knot. I am going to use a G-size hook. When you're first learning, a G-size hook is really a good one to use. It's really the perfect size. It's not too tight, it's not too loose. Go ahead and put your hook in there. And I'm just going to chain up maybe about 20. This is my third attempt at this video because I think YouTube is playing games with me today. I've had some problems trying to get this video done, and I'm not going to give up. I am going to continue. So they're not going to beat me. So I'm just going to do a short chain here so I can show her how to do the single crochet. And I hope you can see this all right. I'm still not real good as to where I want to set my camera yet. So you do your chain of however long you want it to be, and you take your hook and you go into the second chain from the hook, grab your yarn and pull it up. Now you have 2 loops on your hook, okay? Take your hook around your yarn and grab it and pull the yarn through the 2 loops. Go through another stitch and grab that yarn and pull it up, and there's 2 loops on your hook. Grab that yarn and pull it through the 2 loops, and you've got a single crochet. So we'll do that again. Take your needle and go through the chain, grab your yarn and pull it on up. You have 2 loops. Grab your yarn again and pull it through both loops, and there you go. It's really not too difficult. It's going to feel weird probably at first until you do maybe 5 or 10 of them, but once you do, it's going to come really easy to you. Practice, practice, practice is my favorite 3 words. Just practice. Don't give up on it. And if you get frustrated, put it down, go back to it later. So take your hook and go into that stitch, grab your yarn, pull it up, and you have your 2 loops on your hook. Take your yarn and pull it through the 2 loops, and there is your single crochet. And I'll just do a couple more just so that you can see hopefully how it's supposed to look. I hope you can see everything okay. I'm a little shaky. I was fine when I first got on. I got really frustrated when I got cut off. And then when I went to do my second video and I got cut off again, then I had steam coming out my ears. So we're going to see how this one goes. But there's your single crochet. See how nice that is? And it's very easy. Just take your hook and go into your chain. Grab your yarn. Pull it up. There you have the 2 loops. Grab your yarn again and slide it on through those 2 loops. And there's your single crochet. Okay, so good luck with that. I hope it works out. Let me know if you have any questions. I can do it again. I'm determined to teach you, so let me know if you have any problems with this. Okay, so we've gotten that far and we're not cut off yet. Yay! Now, I did have a request. Someone would ask me if I would show them how to make my baby blankets with the fancy edging that I do. It is one of my top sellers. I don't have any left in the house. I've been busy trying to make them. I just can't keep up. But here is the first tool you're going to need. It's called an awl, A-W-L. It's very sharp and pointy, and it's very dangerous, so please be very careful with it. Don't ever leave it lay around where a child or even where you might be able to drop it on a pet, because it'll go right into them. It's that sharp. So please be careful with it. And I have one of my blankets ready to go here. I did poke the holes already. But I'm going to show you. You just take your awl and poke through, and it's not real easy. Depending on what type of material you have, If you have a material that's got big print on it, or it may be hard to get it through, and it also may be kind of hard to see the holes whenever you go to crochet. So you kind of want to do, I do about 50 holes on each side. So you're going to have 200 or roughly in that area. You don't have to. I mean, if you miss, I mean, don't count them. Just try to keep your holes kind of close together, okay? Because if they're too far apart, your blanket's going to bunch. And I did do that a couple times when I first started out making these. And suffice to say, I didn't sell them. They went in the trash. So try to keep them sort of close together. And be careful of your knuckles with this, because if you hit your knuckles, and I have several times, because when you're pushing it through, you're really close to your knuckles. And I've drawn blood. So, okay, so I have some poked here. About as many as I'm going to need to show you what I want to do. I'm not going to do a whole blanket because it would just take way too much time. It takes anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours to make one of these, depending, and I'm pretty speedy at it too, because I've done enough of them, but just take your time so you don't hurt yourself. Don't get in a hurry with it. Okay, and I think what I'm going to do is start with my gray yarn. Okay, if I can find the end of it. There we go. I think you'll be able to see it better than the white. I started out my first video with the white, and I'm going to use the gray. I'm using a bee hook, okay, and also I'm using Super Saver, Red Heart Super Saver yarn. It is 4-ply. I'm using the gray. It is 4-ply, 100% acrylic. It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. It doesn't shrink, so it's great for baby blankets and that, because once again, you're not going to have have it shrink, and then the blanket will bunch on you if it shrinks. So this yarn, being 100% acrylic, will not shrink, I promise you. So we're going to go ahead. I'm using a bee hook, and the reason I'm using this tiny little hook is because it makes it so much easier to get in the holes. But I want you to keep in mind when you do and you pull it through, keep your stitches loose. With a small hook is meant to make tight stitches. I keep mine relatively loose because I'm going to switch over to a G-size hook for my next round, okay? And that's going to make the stitches bigger also, because you want to try to keep it on the loose side so it doesn't bunch up your blanket. So you just go in through the hole, pull your yarn through, and you're doing single crochet. Okay, this is going to be your whole first row all the way around is a single crochet. And I'm going to do it kind of quickly. I want to make sure that I don't have to do another video. So I want to get through all 4 rows for you. So I'm only doing so many. And this is actually this blanket. I love this blanket. I've made one so far. It's so pretty with the gray and with the gray booties and hat. Or it's also pretty with the white hat and booties. You know, this it can be used for a girl or a boy. They're little moons with stars and clouds. Very fresh looking. I sold one to a customer and she loved it. She sent me a picture of her baby with it, and it was just so adorable. And I do have my babies, and I wish that I had one made for mine. But you know, us artists or crafters, when we make things, we don't generally make things for ourselves. We do it for everyone else, and we don't have time to do it for ourselves. And I've been crocheting for 30 odd years, and I really don't have anything that I have made for myself. I've either given it away or sold it. And if you guys want to try these blankets out, I'm telling you, they're great for gifts, great for friends, great for baby showers. They're just, I imagine that's probably why I do sell so many, but they're also really nice for the babies. On the baby community, they just are gorgeous. They just look really pretty with the babies. Excuse my phone, guys. I'm sorry. At least At least my video is still working. Okay, so this is about how far I'm going to go with this. And what you're going to do is you're going to go all the way around your blanket. And when you get around to the other, where you started, you're going to slip stitch into the single crochet. I'm sure you all know how to do a slip stitch. And if you don't, let me know and I'll show you. And I'm going to end up showing you how anyway, actually, with this blanket. So now what you're going to do, your next row, your first row is a single crochet and your second row is actually a single crochet. And that gives that a real neat look. So I'm going to single crochet, go into the stitch, pull your yarn up, 2 loops, grab it and go through the 2. I kind of thought, was thinking to myself when I started making these, wow, it takes so long to get around it with a single crochet, especially when you're doing 2 rows. And I guess that's probably what takes most of the time, but it just makes it so nice and neat looking, and I love it. And I like my projects to look really neat. This is the right side. So I'm just going to get to the end here and I'm going to show you how to do the second row. And I know this is quick, but until I have an editing program, this is how I'm going to have to do my tutorials. And I was going to ask Jennifer to edit for me, but she's got so much of her own things going on that she doesn't have time, and I know it. So until then, you guys are just going to have to bear with me. And, I hope that in any case that this is helpful to you. So, okay, so when you start your second row, which is where this is your second row, your single crochet. So you do 2 rows of single crochet, all right? Now, when you get ready to do your third row, you're going to slip stitch into that first stitch again, and then you're going to chain 3, 2, 3. And you're not going to turn like I'm doing because I'm just doing a few stitches here to show you what to do. You're working all the way around continuously, okay? So you did your chain 3, and you're going to do a double crochet. That is actually considered your first double crochet, the chain 3. And what you're going to do is you're going to wrap your yarn around your hook and go in that very same stitch, pull your yarn up. You have 3 loops there. You're going to go through 2, and then you're going to go through the next 2, and that is your double crochet. Okay, and I'll show you again. Yarn over, go through the next stitch, pull your yarn up, 3 loops, go through 2, and then go through the next 2, and there is your double crochet. Okay, so what we're going to do then is you're going to double crochet around, excuse me guys, I'm getting all hung up here. You're going to double crochet all the way around your blanket, and as you do, you're going to notice it's getting prettier and prettier. This is normally where I would change my color. However, I don't want to do a color change and get you all confused right now. I'm going to show you that in another video, how to do a color change, because I like to use 3 colors in my blankets. I usually use white for the first, when you're adding to your blanket, I use white for the first row of single crochet. My second single crochet, I usually do white. And then and even on this blanket, I would do the same. So this row that I'm working on now, the double crochet, would be the gray. So I would switch from the white over to the gray. But I really don't want to show you that now because I'm feeling a little pressured. I want to get this video before they mess me up again. This is a real pretty color, gray. I'm going to tell you what color it is because I think it's a gray heather. It is. It's gray heather. It goes very well with patterns with gray and white. It just gives it a real rich look. I love it. I work with a lot of grays now because it seems to be a popular color right now. Grays, pinks, and some blues. Not so much the blues. I think there's a lot of baby girls coming into the world, so more so than boys. Sometimes though it's just funny. I'll sell a whole bunch with pink, and then all of a sudden, you know, I'm like, wow, they're making all these pink blankets. All girls are being born. And then all of a sudden I'm doing all blue, and then, you know, and then the grays and white is really nice because it can go either way. It can be for a boy or a girl, or yellows or green, you know, greens. So yeah, it just depends on your preference as to what colors you want to use. But I suggest you go to Joann Fabrics and get material. They have beautiful baby nursery patterns. I love shopping there. I don't get to go very often, but I love to shop there for my material. It's really fun. Okay, so here is our row of double crochet. So just pretend that I went around my whole blanket, okay? So you're not going to turn. I have to turn because I'm not going around my whole blanket. You're always going to be working on the right side of your work, okay? So every time you go around, you're going to be working on the right side. It's going around, you know, you don't turn your work. Otherwise, you're going to have some problems there. Now here comes the famous stitch. This is what really makes this blanket. It's called a picot stitch. That's what I like to call it. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right or not, but I certainly hope I am. And what you're going to do to make this stitch is you're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your needle down into the very first chain that you made, grab your yarn, pull it through, and then go through this stitch it was on your hook. I'm going to repeat that because I didn't really say that correctly. And I lost my yarn, and that happens too. Okay, but when you have your first picot made, you're going to skip a stitch, go into the next one, grab your yarn, pull it through, and do a slip stitch, and there's your first picot. Okay, I hope you can see that. So let's see if this one goes any better, guys. Okay, chain 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can make your chains as loose or tight as you want. I recommend you do them a little looser because if they're tight, you're not going to be able to get into that bottom stitch. So I like them just a little bit loose as you go up towards the top. That makes the picot stand out a little more. So go into your 4th chain, grab your yarn and pull it through that loop there and go through the loop on your hook, and then skip a stitch and go into your next, pull it through and slip, and there's your picot. Okay, and I hope y'all understand because I know that you love my blankets. So hopefully eventually I will see one on a video one day that someone else has made besides mine. So chain 4, and then you're going to go in that bottom chain again and grab your yarn, pull it through and slip right through that other stitch that's on your hook. Skip your next stitch, go into the next, grab your yarn, pull it through and slip it right through that other one on your hook. And there's 3. And they come out pretty nice. Sometimes the yarn will tighten up depending how you're holding it or get caught on your rings like it does mine. And so you don't want to let it tighten up. Just take it out and do it again because you kind of want to keep them all as close to the same as you can. You know, you don't want one real small next to one that's a medium size or a bigger size picot. So, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Take your hook into the bottom chain, grab your yarn, pull it through, and slip it right through that hook, stitch it was on your hook. And then skip a stitch, go into the next stitch, pull your yarn up, and slip it right on through. And that holds your picot. So you've got 4 now, and it's really starting to look nice. I'm wondering if I shouldn't just do this all gray. And that's how we do that. So once again, if you guys have any questions on this, I'm going to also, being my camera is behaving, I'm going to show you how to do a color change. So I'm tearing out a few stitches here. And this might not come to you right away. Let me find my yarn. Where is it? Boy. Here it is, I think. Nope. I have yarn all over the place, guys. So eventually I will get myself so I'm a little more organized. I just have a blanket sitting here that I wanted to show you that I was working on today. Okay, so what you're going to do is have your other color yarn back behind. Hey, back behind. Sorry, guys. Take your next color and put it over your hook and grab onto it and pull it right on through there. And actually, no, that's not it either. Let me do that again. I'm sorry. I'm getting out of the swing here. The dogs, the phone, you name it. Okay, you're going to wait till you get up to your last stitch. When you go in your last stitch, you're only going to pull up the yarn. You're going to have the 3 loops on your hook for your double crochet. You're going to grab that yarn and only go through 2, okay? You're going to leave 2 loops on your hook. And then you're going to grab your next color and you're going to wrap it around your hook. And it's going to be kind of clumsy for you at first, but you'll figure it out. Pull it through the 2 loops, okay? And then grab your new yarn, and I shouldn't have done it on that end. Go, let me think here a minute. Go into your next stitch. Well, actually what you're going to do, I can't do it because I'm not all the way around my blanket, so I can't even show you how it works here. What you're going to do you only have a half a stitch when you join your color, and you can see why. You're not going to see where you joined it. So, and then you're going to, whenever you go to start your next row, what you're going to do is you're going to slip stitch into that first stitch of the next row. See if I can just do it in this one to show you. Just slip stitch. So here is the stitch that you actually made a double crochet, but the white is coming out and you can't tell. Okay, this really isn't the right way for me to show you, and I'm not liking it, so I'm not going to go on with that because I want to show you the right way to do it. So that will be my next video, is to show you how to join colors. I'll think of something to make where we're going to need to change colors, even if it's a blanket, and it probably won't be because I really don't want to have to go all the way around the whole blanket with you guys on here because it just takes too long. Okay. But I think I gave you the gist of that. At least we got the double crochets. So let me get this last one on here, which I do have to finish it. I'm turning my work. You will not turn your work. You're going all the way around the blanket with your double crochets. Okay. Chain up 3. I think I pulled all my picots out anyway. And like I said, go into that bottom chain, grab your yarn, pull it up, slip, and then skip a stitch, go over a stitch, and you're going to slip stitch. You're going to chain 4, go into the bottom stitch, grab it, pull it up, pull it through that other stitch on your hook. Oh, I'm having an awful time now. See, now I'm doing it real tight, and that's what I told you guys not to do. So you don't want to do it real tight because it does make it difficult. Dash. Okay. Skip a stitch, go into your next. We have guys out there with great big dump trucks. They're putting in a new road. It's crazy. My dogs are barking 24 hours a day anymore. So I do apologize for the noise. Okay, so we're going to chain 4. Do this one a little bit looser. Go into that bottom stitch, pull your yarn through, and go through the loop that's on your hook. Okay, you're going to skip this next stitch, go into the next, grab your yarn, and pull it through. And that's a slip stitch. So we've got 3 picots on there. We'll do one more. And you're going to go in that bottom chain. You're going to slip through the stitch on your hook, skip a stitch, go into the next, grab your yarn, pull it up, and pull it right through that loop on your hook, and you just did a slip stitch, and there are your picots. They're beautiful. So if you have any questions on how to do this, I know it's been kind of rough on this video, and I'm sorry. I hope you can see everything okay. It's just really pretty hard when you're not doing the whole blanket, which I can't do because, once again, I cannot edit my video. So here is, make sure I don't have anything tangled here. Here is the most recent blanket I've been working on. I started it this morning. Let's see where I'm at on here. I'm working on my picot row, and I have only a few stitches to do. Like I said, after your first row of single crochet, you're going to want to switch over. I switched to a G hook so I can make my stitches bigger. And always, if you're going to leave a project, make sure you pull your loop up of your last stitch. Pull it way up so that way you don't lose it. And if you go to grab your yarn, it doesn't pull all your stitches out, because that's no fun either. So I did do the picot rows. This is a really pretty teddy bear pattern. And I did 2 rows of the white. I did 1 row of double crochets of the gray, and I'm doing 1 row of the picots in the yellow. And so, as you can see, it's got every color that's in the blanket, and that's what really makes them pretty. So I always try to make them have every color that's in the blanket. So like with this one, with being gray and white, I would use just gray and white because those are the colors in the blanket. So I would work it out. You know, you could do 1 row single crochet in white, 1 row gray, and then do your double crochet in white and your picot in gray, or vice versa, however you feel you want it to look. So it's you know, however you want it to look. I decided to do mine this way, and I think it's very pretty. So I can go ahead and finish up this row of picots, and guess what, guys? This blanket will be done. So I'm going to chain 4, go into my last chain, hopefully. See, I was using that small needle, and that really threw me off. Okay, we're going to do that just a little bit looser. Get used, and it is strange when you change from one hook to the next. You have to really adjust to it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Go into that bottom chain there, pull your yarn out, and go into the one that was on your hook. Skip the next stitch, go into the next, pull your yarn through, and slip. So you're actually doing like 2 slip stitches in a row. Oh, I'm just all hung up on everything. Forgive me, guys. It's starting to get dark. I think we have a storm on the way. And not looking forward to it. We had one nice day, which was, well, Saturday wasn't too bad, but I hope you all had a nice weekend. Okay, let's see how many I have left to do on here. Not just a few left. So we'll do these together. Okay, so I did my picot. I'm skipping a stitch, going into my next, grab my yarn, and I'm doing a slip stitch. Simple as that. Chain 4 and go into my bottom chain and slip stitch into that one on your hook. Then you're going to skip 1, go into the next, and you're going to slip stitch again. So you're skipping 1 stitch in between each picot. And what I wanted to tell you also that I did not tell you, when you get to your corners, and this is totally up to you how you're going to do your corners. I personally, when I do my single crochet rows and I get to a corner, I put 3 single crochets in each corner on the first row around. That rounds your corner for you. See how rounded it is now? It's rounded. So it's going to lay flat because it's rounded. So your first row in your single crochets, you're going to do 3 in each stitch or 3 single crochets in the corner. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Your second row of single crochet, when you get to your corners, you're going to put 2 in each of the 3 stitches from your first row. When you get to your double crochet, I put 2 in each of, you're going to end up with 6 altogether. So, and I mean, you could do more or you could do less. That's totally up to you. If it seems like it's not shaping right, take a couple out, you know, go to the next stitch and get back to your regular double crochet. When I do my picots, I do, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 in my corner. So I'm not skipping stitches in the corner with my picots because I want them to be rounded. So in the corner, I did not skip any. I did my picot, and let me just see here. Come on. Oh, I did. Okay, let me slip stitch this one in here. Chain 4. Uh-oh, got company. Bear with me, guys. My husband's home, so forgive me. Okay, so we're done with that. What you're going to do with your last one when you get up to your corner is you're just going to slip stitch into that last one, and that's going to bring it all together. So you have 6 there, and your slip stitch, and then you're just going to tie it off, all right? And it's done, just like that. And you can cut it off and tie it off. Tie off all your loose ends, because you're going to have probably 6 of them from your different colors. Okay, there you go. So that's one completed blanket. Okay, so if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. You can go ahead and send me an email at ljhackett6@aol.com, or just go in the messages below, leave me a comment, and I'll get right back to you, okay? So you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for your patience. Talk at you later. Thank you. Also, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Share this video. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do subscribe. And thank you to all the new subscribers that I do have. Have a great day, guys. Bye.